so there are some things that in our mind we believe are hard to paint, quote unquote. But it's nothing is harder to paint than anything else. Everything is shape, line, and color. I didn't believe it either, that statement, but it's true. So I've got my favorite golden acrylics listed in the description and a little blurb of white. I did a background so it'd be easier to see. This is dark denim, Benjamin Moore Bear color sample. That's the blue. And I have a photo of a lit candle. That is something I feel like some people believe is hard to paint. I know I used to. Things like a clear glass or reflections, hands. I think hands are actually hard to paint. But I believe that the reason these things are hard to paint is because our mind makes assumptions on how we think things look. So if you slow down and just actually look, like your mind would say this is white, the candle, but it's not. It's a little pink up here, and it's definitely gray down here, morphing into complete whatever this dark color is, right? And if you actually look, this is a very pale yellow. This is brown and a bright orange. I'll show you. So you just slow down and keep looking at what you're painting. And color mixing it gets easier with practice. I think that using good transparent colors like these golden acrylics makes a huge difference because they don't get all muddy. But it's a trial and error and practice. Like you find out how strong, like I just did, how much pigment is in that phthalo blue. That's what makes it so great. And one thing you can do if you're learning to mix colors is actually mix and put the color right on top of what you're trying, to match. Like I just made this kind of pinky gray. And see? It's a little bit grayer. It needs a little more yellow. This is all those, so there you go. If you can't see it, that means you got it. You got the color, right? I'm gonna start and just really, look and see what you're looking at. Like I never really noticed sometimes candles have funny shapes like this. Now, acrylics dry really fast. That's why some people don't like them. Like oils you can work with for days before they dry. I don't like that. I use a hairdryer to dry them even faster. But sometimes I might mix in these colors with that background color, but I'm just, for the sake of the demonstration, I'm just gonna keep using the golden acrylics. See how he's slowly fading into darkness? Very spooky candle, isn't it? And so I always, in the beginning, and actually most of the time, I almost 100%, actually, I'm going to go out on a limb and say absolutely never do I use these paint colors straight out of the tube. Straight out of the tube is usually what's considered a pure hue. And when you mix in other colors, then it's not a pure hue anymore. It's, like a pure hue, a pure yellow has a lot of energy, gets a lot of attention. Your eye goes to it. And it's overly bright. It's like if you made a painting out of a box of crayons. So I might come in to really seal the deal, but let's see, I'll just go ahead and mix a color as close as I can get. If you had a kid paint with a box of primary crayons. You know, that bright intensity. If everything's a primary color, just pure red, pure, you know how much energy that has. It's like, it's almost hard to look at. So I always tone colors down in the beginning, because then when you add in just a tiny bit of your jewel tones, of your, you know, closer to pure hues, bam, they really pop out at you. It's like having a beautiful emerald in, you know, on top of a piece of burlap or something. It would really jump out at you, right? Okay. So it also looks like, I don't know if you can see that it's a little bit lighter on the outside. And I almost always use a little teeny portion of all three of these colors, even if it's just a dot, because especially with the blue, the dot is all you're gonna need. But it keeps them from being too bright. And see, like, look, I made that, like in person, that looked like a very off-white. And then let's see. And another great way to add dimension is to alter the temperature. And temperature is relative. I covered that in another earlier video. We can talk about that for days. Temperature is relative to what it's sitting right next to. You know what I mean? Out of these two colors, purple is cooler than this yellow creamy color. It's just relative. It's just what it sits next to. But you can take advantage of that and put warmer colors next to cooler colors to give it this kind of push-pull. Let's see. I'm trying to make a little shadowy situation in the back of the... I'd love to know in the comments if you're just watching along or if you're actually getting dirty and painting. Okay, so down low, down here, it's kind of a, really kind of brown. But you know what I mean? Your mind is gonna think, fire, it's orange, it's yellow, it's white, and it's not straight orange, yellow, white. You know, like when I work with kids, I'll say, what color are clouds? And they all go, white. They're not always white. They're sometimes pink and purple and gray. I've even seen some green in a cloud. I'm not saying often, I'm just saying it's happened. Okay, so I'm not gonna start with, let's see how there's that like deep brown color that goes to an orange. So when you're mixing paints with acrylics and they dry that fast, sometimes you gotta paint fast. But I think painting fast, I feel like painting fast gets more energy in it. You know, you can tell when somebody's like, totally controlled, I think. And we'll do, so I'm teaching a live class Sunday. I think it's Sunday the 11th. I gotta check my dates. And I'm thinking 4 o'clock. So if you wanna join, we'll start off with some color mixing. And then it looks like there's a nice orange arc up here. But like really, I mean, ideally it would be nice to paint from life. I know people say, they call it plein air painting when you're actually outside. But I couldn't figure out how to get a candle lit and laying on its side so you guys could see it. So, and I don't know, I think learning to mix colors, doing it from a photograph really works because it holds still for you, you know? And hopefully won't frustrate you. And see how it's got these layers? And I feel like towards the middle, it's almost white. But so all of these colors are, none of them are a pure hue straight out of the tube. I'm even gonna mix a bright orange, but I'm not gonna have, it's not gonna be just yellow and the red, and well, it's magenta. Let's see, let's Let's make, okay, so this is what I do instead of black. I try to mix all three of these primary colors evenly, and it makes, making black is a great way to learn how to mix colors, because if you get them in even amounts, you get this black. But then you add white and it makes amazing deep luminous grays. You know what I mean? You can make like black and white and gray. It's kind of boring. I think having interesting, you know, different blacks. All right, now I'm gonna get a smaller brush. And I'm gonna be pretty close to a pure hue or a pure secondary. I'm gonna use very little. I'm gonna put the tiniest dot of blue in here just to tone her down. Actually, you know, I'm not. I'm gonna show y'all what it does when it's bright. Look at this. Isn't that fabulous? Isn't color amazing? But go easy on yourself. You know what I mean? If it starts to frustrate you, take a, you know, just take a breath and be like, okay, I'm here to learn. People, it's funny, people will come in my studio and paint with me and get frustrated. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for, I was told there'd be no math in this YouTube channel, so I don't know how many years, but I've been doing it for a lot of years. So I feel like for me to be doing it, you know, I'm 52, so I've been doing it like more than 30 years, more than 35. And then you walk in and you think it's supposed to be easy. Also, just painting art looks easy like playing an instrument, right? But it takes a little practice. It should be fun, not necessarily easy. How about that? I think we need a little more. What do we need? And then I think half the battle, to be perfectly frank, is knowing when to flip and take it away. Because I will overwork a painting. Whoo! And my friend Greg will walk in and be like, stop. She has a great eye. She knows when to take it away. But see how if you just keep kind of looking what's going on, you start to really see. And maybe there's a little highlight. But see how many different colors we put in there instead of just white candle, orange flame, you know, that kind of program. Okay, I think there's still a little more purple behind the flame. So the more neutral a color is, meaning the more, you know, mixed it is with the other two colors or other colors in general, it makes it more neutral. So like a pure hue comes straight out of the tube. Then when you make it more neutral, it means you're adding like its complement or the color right next to it, which I forget what it's called. My art teacher's gonna kill me. Okay, I feel like I see. So if you keep looking, like look in here, I haven't hit this transition exactly right. Keep practicing. Find the hardest thing you think that you can't paint. And just look at it and start by like describing it and being like, okay, that's sort of a pale warm pink. The stem looks like a very dark black. Right in here is a muted orange. And like identify it. Don't let your brain make assumptions. It's why kids draw lollipop trees. Because they think there's a straight line and then a circle at the top. Have you ever seen a tree that looks like that? That wasn't a topiary? No, that doesn't occur in nature. Or like you always draw people's teeth white. Nobody's teeth are white. There we go. Okay, So we're starting out this YouTube channel thing because I want to teach. I taught during the shutdown and had so much fun. People were so lovely. We really had a good time. But I love the idea of teaching online, free, live art classes. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm excited. So subscribe, and I think you just hit the subscribe button. And we will send you a notice of the exact time. I think it's going to be 4 or 5 on Sunday. I think it's the 11th. I should have looked it up, but I'm in the middle of painting, so I don't want to stop. So anyway, there you have it. Hope you had fun. Thanks for watching.